Today we're looking at phrasal verbs with do. There aren't too many with do, but there are a lot of expressions with do, and there's a lot of confusion with make and do. So I'll do some phrasal verbs with make in the future. But let's start with do something up. This can mean at least two different things. It was only two things that occurred to me, that dawned on me when I first wrote do up on the board. So do something up, it can mean zip up your coat. It can mean do up your shoes, means tie up your shoes. So it could mean zip up or tie up. It literally means fasten. You can say do your seatbelt up as well. Fasten your seatbelt, do your seatbelt up. But yeah, do something up, it can mean zip up or tie up. There's a second meaning though. If you do up your flat, then you're doing decorations, you're doing DIY, you're doing jobs around the house to make your house look nicer. Usually when you do up your house or you do up your flat, you're painting the walls, or you're putting up wallpaper, or you're laying down carpet, something like that. You could also use some of these other phrasal verbs. Jazz up your flat, spruce up your flat. Dress up is obviously for a person dresses up, but I think it's related to do up in the decorate sense, because we've got all of these ones like doll up. I mean, if you say she was really dolled up, it means she was really dressed up and she was wearing perhaps a lot of makeup and she had her hair all done nicely. She was dolled up. So this one's especially for females, I think, this one. And it means dressed up and looking attractive for a good night out, usually. But yeah, jazz something up means make it look nicer. I mean, it's kind of connected to the phrasal verb sex something up as well, make it sexier, yeah? So there are a lot of phrasal verbs with up which relate to this decorate, to make something look nicer. And I would say, if this one's for females, by the way, doll up, then spruce up would be for males. It seems to me males usually use this, and when a guy gets spruced up, then he's looking good, he's dressed up, and he's looking good for his night out. Okay, if we come on to another one, do without. If you can do without something, it means you can survive without it. So it's the same as these other three phrasal verbs here. When you can live without something, or you can go without something, or you can get by without something, they're all the same as do without. Very often used in the negative, but not only. So you might say, I can't do without cigarettes if you're addicted to smoking. But yeah, it can be used in the positive too, but very often used in the negative, and it means to survive without. Okay, if you do someone over, this is very British, which is why I've put British English there. If you do someone over, you beat them up. Okay, it involves beating someone up in some kind of way. If you do someone in, it could mean that you kill them. This has three different meanings, this one. It could mean that you kill them, that you do away with them in some kind of way, you kill them. It could also mean if you do something in, if you do your back in, or if you do your leg in, that means you injure that part of the body. So it's also used with parts of the body to mean injure. Very often you hear people say, oh, I did my back in when I was lifting that heavy suitcase, or something like that. But you can also say that something tired you out if it did you in. So you can say, I was running around all day and it really did me in. It means it really tired me out. It really exhausted me. So it's another meaning of do someone in, to tire someone out. That's obviously another phrasal verb you could use. Now, if you do away with an old law, then you abolish it. If you do away with capital punishment, then you abolish the death penalty. But if you do away with someone, you kill them, you do them in. So you've got at least two meanings to that phrasal verb. And please don't forget that another way of saying abolish with a phrasal verb is get rid of. That one's very common. If you don't know that one, make sure you learn it, because people use it all the time. Get rid of something, abolish something, similar to throw something away sometimes. Okay, if you do someone down, then you criticize them, you talk them down, you lay into them, you run them down. All of these words mean criticize to some degree. You have a go at them, you slag them off. This would be very informal British English, I think, as well. And it means that you're saying lots of bad things about that person so that they feel bad. You obviously disrespect them in some way. You obviously look down on them, and so you do them down. You run them down. You say bad things about them to make them feel worse. It's quite a negative phrasal verb, that one. Now, another expression is to be done for. If you say we're done for, it's the same as we're doomed. I don't know if you know this word doomed, but if you are doomed, you are done for. It means you are certain to fail, or certain to lose, or things are certain to end badly if you are done for. So it's another expression with a do phrasal verb. Now, to be done out in, quite specific phrasal verb. This means to be decorated in a certain style. So it's related to do something up. If you say my house, or this, my house has been done out in blue, it means that all of the furniture has been, or all of the wallpaper or all of the paint has been blue. You have decorated it in a blue style, but you don't need to use colours. You could also say it has been done out in a Victorian style, and that means that it has been decorated in that style. So a very thin meaning here. I mean, it's very focused. It only means one particular thing, this one. Okay, if you say I could do with a coffee, it means I fancy a coffee. Very often used with could as well. Could or can do with. In fact, usually could, though. I'll get rid of can there because it's usually could. I could do with a coffee. It's like I could murder a coffee, we also say. And it means I really want a coffee. I could do with this, I could do with that. It means I fancy this, I would like that. And it's really common. So I would put it all together actually with could, because you don't usually say I do with a coffee, you say I could do with a coffee. And it's used in that hypothetical meaning of when you don't have a coffee but you want one. And so very, very common, this one. I could do with a coffee, I could do with a cigarette, I could do with a beer. It's very hot today, so I could do with a fan, and I do actually have one in the room, but I could do with turning it on maybe. Now there is a second meaning with just do with, without the could. And it means to be connected to something, to be relevant to something. So very similar to the bear on phrasal verb. If you say I have nothing to do with this, it means this is not my responsibility. I'm not involved in this. This has no connection to me. It has no bearing on me. To have a bearing on, yeah? It doesn't bear on me. And it's often used in the negative. I have nothing to do with this, or he has nothing to do with this. But it could be used in the positive. You could say this has something to do, or perhaps you're talking about global warming. You might say global warming has something to do with CO2 or whatever. You're saying that it's connected to CO2. But you might say global warming has something to do with the sun. And if you believe that it's connected to the sun in some kind of way. Now, if you do something over and over again, you do it repetitively, you repeat it over and over again, you do it many times. That over often is used to mean repetition, so it's worth remembering. If you do someone out of their inheritance, it means you cheat them out of their inheritance. So do someone out of means to deprive someone of what is rightfully theirs. Deprive someone of something which they really ought to get. And it has these two other phrasal verbs which are very similar. When somebody diddles you out of your change, maybe you go to a shop and they don't give you any change and you walk out without realizing they have diddled you out of your change. They have cheated you out of your change. So it's another phrasal verb with do, but it basically is related to cheating, to depriving someone of what is rightfully theirs. Okay, that's all I've got for you with do. If you have any questions about these phrasal verbs, please put them under the video. Please, if you want more examples, there's Oxford Dictionary, there's Cambridge Dictionary, there's Merriam-Webster, there are hundreds of dictionaries online with hundreds of examples. So don't think that this is the only place you can look for examples. There are lots of places that you can look, and it's just one click away really. So thanks for watching. Please like the video if you've enjoyed it, and I hope to see you all soon.